Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's production of the Little Guys Home Technology Live Stream Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Evie, and we're excited to bring you this live stream, even though the Cubs are out of the playoffs.
All right, so we're past that.
We feel good that they can go home to their families now.
Let's not dwell on the negative. Actually, it was a terrible playoffs, but it was a great season. So.
Well, there's no one who's a Cubs fan they didn't expect him to win the World Series once, let alone twice.
Yeah, come on. And
we're still happy.
3 years in a row? Are you kidding? Let's go. All right. So, we are podcasting from our Gundo Theater in Always Sunny, Mokina, Illinois. A room designed, engineered, and created by Tom for us to do this podcast. So we appreciate that. We are fortunate that AudioQuest, Integra, and Golden Ear, 3 companies dedicated to high-performance audio and getting you the best sound possible, help fund the equipment needed, and we want to thank them as well.
Absolutely.
Little Guys is located at
19031 South Old LaGrange Road, which Google does not agree with, where Mokina meets I-80. I am not saying we're south of this, north of that,
nah,
east
you
of
don't have
that.
to say it. They know where we're at.
It's I-80 south to 191st Street, turn left at the light, and left again half a block in between the White Castle and the Denny's.
Yep.
And
there
you're here.
There we are. And it appears that we are going to be in this location for the next several months, even though we thought we were moving or shrinking or doing something, but discussions, I don't know if that's a really positive spin, discussions, but the interaction with the landlord has kind of gone dead, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to stay here. Our lease is through the end of March, so we will at least be here through the end of March, and then we'll go somewhere else at that time if that's what we end up doing. We're going to try in a very peaceful and friendly way to work out a deal with the existing management, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So much of what we do is in your home, and we're happy to come out and take a look and figure out what the next steps are anyway. We are open our regular hours this week and this next week. Right
up until October 28th, whatever that Saturday is.
That Saturday. So we're open till then, Monday through Thursday, 10 until 6, and Friday and Saturday, 10 to 5. After that, we're going to be open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and by appointment before, during, after hours, and even on Saturdays. Even though we're closed on Saturdays, we'll be taking appointments and doing whatever needs to be done.
I will give $10 to the first person who schedules an appointment with David at 5 a.m.
No, that won't happen. But unless we're golfing somewhere and it's early spring or something like summer.
It'd have to be late spring
if
you want it to be light out at 5 a.m.
Anyway, we're glad to do that. Just call us. 708-754-8844. Email us, info@thelittleguys.com. If you're not sure what the hours are, check our website or call the store or email us, and we'll tell you exactly where we're at and what's going on, and go from there. If it turns out we stay in this space, we're going to have to kind of clean up after the moving sale and reset up some systems and reset up some stuff, but we'll deal with that.
Well, we're certainly not going to fill the store again. I mean, it was untenable to have that much retail space when people don't want to go out shopping. They want us to come to them.
Right.
So
no problem.
We'll do that.
Recent flaw in Wi-Fi devices that was discovered, leaving them a little unsecure. We're going to talk about video and television in general and furniture and why picking out the right furniture is important. Let's start out with video. Right, we recently saw a bunch of the OLED. We have the OLED TVs here for you to see from Sony and LG, and we've looked at the new Z series Sony, or the Z series Sony, which isn't brand new, but been out for a little while. But that series of Sony, high-end video and high-performance video. There's a lot of amazing stuff out there. But let's tell the people what they should look for. What do you look for when you're picking out a TV? Does it need to be a smart TV? Guess what?
They're all smart.
At this point, if you find a TV that's not a smart TV, that's
maybe a 26-inch.
Even those, most of those. I mean, there's a few exceptions. A few exceptions, but for the most part, they're all smart TVs, which means they have, access to the internet and availability to do some apps and lots of streaming and those kind of things. But what should you look for in terms of the picture and the quality, and what do you want the television to do? What makes one different from the other? First, the thing you need to really consider is, what source are you viewing? What are you watching on the TV that you're making a decision about in the store? When you see it somewhere, what are you watching? Are you watching a Comcast broadcast? Are you watching DirecTV or Dish Network or Uverse? Is it a computer recording of some very specific material that maybe masks video issues and doesn't put any challenge, into the television system,
right,
or into its processing capabilities? So it's kind of hiding some of the things you're going to see when you watch regular TV when you get home. Is it a live sports event, or is it an older television show maybe being rebroadcast? Because some TVs do that better than others. So those are the things you need to consider as far as what you're watching.
Right, you don't want to watch the big box store commercial over and over when you get home.
And they even have regular programming put into their hard drives that's specific for making TVs not look, how they really look or whatever. The first thing I look at, and maybe it's because I'm into, hockey and baseball and football and the rest. The first thing I look at is motion issues. I think besides the fact that plasma pictures were amazing back in the day, the fact that they had no motion issues. There were no movement problems. They were just fast-moving scenes were fast-moving scenes. I mean, you didn't pay any attention to that. There was no hesitation or delay or, that kind of a thing. So motion issues is number one on my list. Other people might have black level, and we'll talk about that next, on their list. But for me, it's motion. Look at the TV. I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care if it's 960, 1444, 320. I don't care what the motion rate says on the thing. What does the picture look like?
Right.
Take a look at that.
Well, and then there was a period of time for a couple years with LCD before the 4K, and they sort of solved the motion issues where you could change the motion rate, and so it wasn't as jittery, but it started to look.
Picture looked awful.
People were calling and saying, well, why does my TV look like a soap opera? It just looks fake.
So I mean that the motion thing is critical, and all of these things, it's the eye test. It's not the numbers on paper. It's the eye test. Just go look at it and see. Number two for me is definitely black level. How black is the black? Because all the contrast feeds off of that. All the colors, you want a black base. You want it to be black when it's black. You don't want it to be grayish. You don't want it to be almost black or dull.
You don't want charcoal. You don't want slate. You want black.
And the second part of that is the detail in the black level. For example, if a guy's wearing or anybody's wearing a suit coat and it's got a pattern in it, do you see the pattern, or is it just dark? You can see if you're watching the news broadcast. That's a good place to see the colors in their jackets and shirts and blouses and dresses, and see if there's detail in the dark scenes and the dark levels. That certainly makes a big difference.
Yeah, one of the things we found amazing was, I think it was the Avengers when we first saw that in 4K. That some of their costumes were like black on black on black, and you could actually see the different. The different ways the material, the different textures of the different materials that they were wearing. That was really cool. It's
really cool, and it's a tough thing for a TV to do. So, what does it mean to you? It means when you're watching a dark scene, a nighttime scene, a scene in space, somewhere where it's dark.
You're not just wondering what's going on. You can actually see what's going on.
You can actually see it. That's it. That's exactly right. 3, color accuracy. As my friend Ryan would say, Coke can red should be Coke can red. It's a very specific color. It's not orange. It's not Valentine red. It's a Coke can red.
It's real easy to see when you're watching like your favorite sports team, because you know what those colors are supposed to be.
That's right.
And sometimes they are just way off.
And in today's world with advanced HDR and other things, it's shades of yellow and it's shades of orange. That I've never seen before on TVs, frankly. But I mean, it's literally the shades of those colors and the ability of those colors to still be sharp and detailed and stuff like that. So that's a huge part of it. Leading me to number 4, which is contrast and realism. the contrast, the difference from light to dark, the sharpness of the detail. Does the picture look real? Does it look like you're watching a cartoon or a an effects picture, or does it look real?
Right. Does it have depth?
Yeah.
Now, we're not talking 3D here. We're talking, can you tell that you're looking down a street, or do you feel like you're looking at a flat picture of a street?
The people, do they look real? Is there, when you're looking at, again, with a sporting event, can you see into the crowd? Do the seats go up at an angle, kind of a thing, and can you see the detail in the later rows?
It makes it a lot easier when one of your family or friends is going to be at the game and you're looking for them during the game.
But the realism, that's a huge part of it, and there's no number for that. That's in, again, the eye test. It's video processing. It's who has the best video processing, who makes it look the most like what it's supposed to look like. I don't know if, when they make a movie, they don't just shoot a scene with a camera and then take that camera and film, and or whatever, and put it into the movie. They analyze it, they take it apart, they rebuild it, they change it, they make adjustments to it. They're trying to make it look a certain way. They're interpreting it a certain way, and they're playing it back on monitors, likely Sony monitors, but they're playing it back on monitors, and they're playing it back on devices and looking at colors and accuracy. It's a very specific thing. It takes a long time. It's not like family movies, right? You go shoot the film and you watch it. It's completely different than that.
And you complain about whoever shot the movie.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't hold still.
And that's why video processing is so important. It makes such a big difference. And again, it's not quantifiable. It's just, does it pass the eye test? Does it look a little fake? Does it look a little weird? Is it so bright and colors so bloomy and glowy and that it's not real? It's fake.
Well, that's a lot of times in the big box stores. I won't name names, but your eyes hurt.
Yeah.
The color is just, at first glance, it's like, wow, that's cool. Look at all that color. But if you actually look at it, it's just like, and it's sort of bleeding into each other,
your eyes
too.
get tired, you get fatigued, and if you're watching for more than a few seconds, they're kind of counting on the fact that you won't. So.
Right.
All right. So next, detail, sharp edges. As good as sharp edges can be, as real as our old CRTs were, as sharp as those edges, because the pixels are so small now with 4K that you should really have good detail, good sharp edging. To me, it drives me nuts when I'm watching the TV in a bar or a restaurant or poker room somewhere or whatever, and it's got that little fuzziness to it, that little, I don't know, I can't watch that anymore. It's just bad. Is it so over distributed? Maybe that's part of it, but the fact that the TV can't show sharp edging, that's not good. And then the part of that is, and it ties into the whole thing, if you're watching old 50s and 60s and 70s television shows, some of which have been redone and look
amazing. Yeah, you can't believe it.
If you're watching the originals or you're watching older shows and stuff like that, some TVs will allow those to still look pretty good. Not perfect like new HD stuff and all the more advanced stuff. But
part of it is you get used to the better picture,
yeah.
And then when you look at the older one, you think, well, that's
back in the day.
In the day, that was great. It was a perfect picture.
Yeah, you got a 19-inch black and white TV, or if you're lucky enough to have color, you got a color TV, and you're sitting 3 feet away because you're leaning your head on your parents' bed or something. I mean, it was no big deal or whatever. So, all right, and then something that nobody on a consumer level tends to think about, but we think about all the time, and that is the ability to be able to control that TV, to be able to blend it in with your control system so that it does what it needs to do when you want it to do it.
Right.
Whether that's via IP, internet protocol, whether you're controlling it over the net, whether you're doing RS-232 or you're doing IR, the ability to do some of the commands and get into the details. It used to be that unless you had a service menu and a special code, and you could get into it, you couldn't even get at half the commands that are available today. So that makes a big difference. Again, I say the key to picking out a television, it's the eye test. Just watch the TV. Check it out. Make sure you're seeing real television. You're not seeing, again, computer-enhanced nonsense or whatever. Make sure you're watching a news broadcast or a television show or, those kind of things. Whether it's over the air, whether it's via Comcast or via satellite, just watch real TV. That's what you're going to do at home. So,
yes.
You can put on a YouTube 4K video and have it look unbelievable. You can find some specific things to watch. That's great, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to be aware, of what does regular TV every day look like. So those are my keys to picking out a good television. I think the projector thing has some other qualifications that are separate, but when it comes to TVs and flat panels and making the decisions, I really truly believe the eye test is the key.
And Sony has jumped into the OLED fray, even though didn't they invent it?
They did invent it and create it.
There are still TVs, and the best TV, and I'm retracting my statement from a couple of weeks ago. The best TV that Sony makes is the Z series. Up until it was on the wall next to an OLED, and Tom had done all the corrections to the picture, I was blown away. I said, no, really, what TV is that? It was the Z series, and the color gamut, and its ability to produce subtle colors in a dark scene was outstanding.
It's amazing. It's so real looking. It's not fake at all. I mean, it's just so real. Again, it's all video processing. It's all in the construction, the design, and the lighting and how they backlight it, and each one being able to be turned on and off, each pixel being able to be turned on and off, and they don't. Most TVs, when they adjust a picture for color and brightness, and when they adjust it, they adjust a section of the TV. Mm-hmm. These guys do an object. It's object based. It's just done differently. So come on in and take a look. And for the next 8 days, we are open Monday through Thursday 10 until 6, Friday and Saturday 10 until 5.
The other thing I wanted to say about that Z series is it was pretty pricey when it first came out.
Oh yeah, no, now it's totally competitive. It was way more money than everything else.
Yeah, but it's very competitive with the OLEDs or anything else on the market, and you should come look at it. It's really stunning. Wait,
I agree.
Do we still have it on the wall?
On the wall.
Okay.
Why the right furniture is so important. We've talked about this a little bit. We've kind of discussed, because we've got all kinds of deals right now on credenzas, because we're still selling a lot of the clearance ones, and we'll talk about it at the end of the podcast. But why is the right furniture so important? Depth. The depth of the furniture that you typically see in the bargain stores is not deep enough to hold most of the components we sell.
Even in the high-end furniture stores.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't... Their standard is sort of like 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
That's not going to hold
Usually
the component.
not deep enough to do what you want to do. I mean, it's deep enough for a cable box, right? It's deep enough for a surge protector. It's deep enough for a remote control system or something, but it's not deep enough for a receiver or a CD changer,
right?
Or other things that you're going to want to put in there. So depth is important. The ability to have wiring flow from one section to the other or out the back of the cabinet, and masking it so it doesn't look horrible. Mm-hmm. That's what part of having furniture that's designed for audio and video components. So that's a big deal. Cooling.
Right, the air circulation. I mean,
gigantic.
Watch TV for a while and go put your hand on top of that cable box. It gets hot.
So the ability of the air to flow through, that's something that companies who are designing AV furniture, still designer, gorgeous looking credenzas and cabinets, but people who are designing it, they have to take that into consideration. Right, the guy building a thing for Joe's Furniture doesn't care about that. He's just building a box, make it look good enough on the outside, right? Of course, the integrity and the strength is the quality of the build. It's how well built is it? What kind of shelves are they? How are the shelves held up with those little pins, or are they, do they have, different kinds of sockets in them? How are they built into the cabinets? Do the doors kind of close on their own, or do you have to slam them shut? There's a lot
You
of.
don't have to slam any doors shut. Some people around here do.
There's a lot of things like that to consider, and of course you want to maintain the style and have it fit into your lifestyle and fit into the space that you have to deal with, whether it's a corner or a middle of a room or those kind of things. All those things come into play.
Yeah, the furniture we carry is it's real furniture. It's not like the Ashley Bob kind of stuff that's looks okay, inexpensive, doesn't hold up, doesn't last very long.
Right, and then access through the back panels. do the panels pop off? Do they slide, or are they all stapled in? And you can't get at anything, and you can't work with anything, and if you change something, it's a nightmare. So,
and in the case of BDI, there's wheels on the back.
There is some
so
wheels.
So it's much easier to move it.
It's just
and they're little, sort of hidden.
They're not big
hidden
giant
wheels.
Yeah.
It's not right. You're doing that.
There's a lot of really cool stuff. Just be aware that there's a reason that some furniture is called AV furniture and really designed for it, and a reason that some of the other stuff's just not good for it.
Right.
All right. As seen in the news this week, a new security flaw with Wi-Fi devices has been discovered. This affects any device that has Wi-Fi capability. Let me repeat. It affects any device that has Wi-Fi capability.
Alexa?
It's every device. There is no
Siri?
There is no. Well, if Siri's on your Wi-Fi device, which she is, then yes. There is no. It's not that somebody did something wrong. It's in terms of the individual manufacturer or vendor. It's not something's not broken.
Right.
It's just part of the design. Tom made us all aware of it. By the way, that this particular thing is called crack, KRACK, which is key reinstallation attacks. I don't know where the CK in the end is. But
Attacks.
Attack. I got it. All right. Anyway,
sometimes you got to work really hard.
This vulnerability affects any device that uses the Wireless Protected Access 2 (WPA2) security mechanism. WPA2 is currently the industry's most popular and recommended security standard for 802.11 wireless networks. Right? In some cases, this vulnerability may allow an attacker to manipulate data on a Wi-Fi network or inject new data. This means hackers could steal users' passwords and financial data or even manipulate commands to wire money to themselves. Please note, an attacker needs to be physically in range of a target Wi-Fi network to carry out the attacks. So somebody's not doing this from another country. Somebody's not doing this from 80 miles away.
At your local Starbucks.
They are physically within range. They have to be.
You're at the library.
Check the little white van out in front of your house. No, they have to be, or that fake plumbing.
Are there people like loitering around in front of your house with their devices?
You do need to be there. So to prevent possible attacks, you must update affected devices as soon as security updates become available. To reiterate, every Wi-Fi device is affected by this vulnerability. This includes end-user devices such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, as well as products like smart thermostats, fridges, locks. All of those things have this. It's a kind of, Tom, would you call it a design flaw? Would you just call it a mistake?
I would call it the bad guys are always looking for new ways.
They figured something out.
The hackers are working 24/7 to just try to.
How come the absolute smartest people in the world become hackers? I don't get it. I know. I see it in TV shows all the time.
We've been seeing that kind of stuff for years, and it might have been fictional at the time they did it, but it turned out to be true.
Well, there's the updates. Everybody's doing the updates. Everybody's finding ways to eliminate this thing. It's not the end of the world. It's all being taken care of over time. For example, our wireless access points that we use, Ubiquity, that is our favorite wireless access point. We called a few hundred customers to let them know that that we were going to do this update for their access points. We were going to change it while we were doing it. It could be out for 5 to 10 minutes.
Right.
And then every once in a while, when you do one, you have to unplug and plug it back in. It doesn't happen very often, but on some of them, that's just a byproduct, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. We can't say we know this guy's is going to need that or that guy's is. We don't know until we do it. So. So we called all the people in advance. We could have just waited. We could have just let it download and do it, and we just thought we'd call them all in advance and let them know what we were doing, and tell them, is it okay to do it? Because if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. If you're not worried about somebody hacking your thing from the outside,
do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
How many, like what the Equifax thing, where there was a security update that they didn't bother to.
Yeah, it's just so this one actually makes sense. Apple will do it in their latest update. Samsung, I'm sure, will do the same, or Google, or Android. All the devices that are out there, they're all going to get taken care of. It's fixable. It's just that some hacker figured something out. So, and they literally can manipulate. If you happen to be typing in the credit card while they were sitting outside your house, they can see it. They can mirror, right? They can mirror your data. They can see what you're doing and tell what you're doing. So, good idea to make sure you're taken care of on that, and that it's, that your stuff's getting updated. That's all.
Right. And be aware anywhere that there's free Wi-Fi, and you don't have to log in or enter any passwords or anything like that.
I just like saying crack. Anyway,
it's like, no, you're open to hackers.
Right, you got it.
And there have been movies about that too.
Actually, there has. All right, one more thing that we want to remind you guys about, and that is two things actually. Plan in advance. Let us meet with you, your designer, your builder, your architect, to discuss the possibilities. But the earlier you get us involved, the better off you are. Please plan in advance. Let us know. Even seriously, if you're just the plans from the architect aren't done yet, let's sit down and just have an in general discussion, not as specifics, picking out product or that kind of thing, but let's have an in general discussion. Once we get the plans, we can implement what your ideas are and give you a concept of what those things cost. It's just a really good idea to discuss it in advance. The architects aren't afraid to have you have this knowledge. Builders are a little intimidated when you have this knowledge. Designers are a little more open to it as long as it fits in with their plan. It's just that, look, you need to protect yourself. You need to make sure that you have the ability to advance as technology advances.
Right.
I mean, at some point, some things become non-operable if you don't have the technology to operate them. Things don't just go on forever. I mean, everybody eliminates things over time. So
right, the first Apple iPad, which is 5 years maybe.
I don't know.
It's longer than that.
Seven or 9
7?
years. Yeah.
Well, they don't support it anymore. That's old technology.
Even the software companies. I mean, at some point they stop supporting your software. I mean, it's just the reality of it. If you do the updates and you keep on it and you make the changes and you advance, no problem. But just let's have those conversations. Let's have those talks. Whether you're just putting a system in your house, whether you're remodeling the house, whether you're putting on an addition, whether you're building a new home, we're happy to work with you and figure things out. I had one the other day where this specific builder. This was actually a call, believe it or not, this was actually a call from Gilbert, Arizona, from a former customer of ours who, when he built his home here, we did a whole system and it integrated throughout the house. And this was a while ago, and he loved it, and it was great, and it worked so well, and he loved the relationship. As things advanced, he advanced his system and did some things. There were some things he didn't do. He didn't care about lights. He cared about everything else, but the lights, he said, I don't mind getting up to hit a light switch. And it's not a matter of if you mind, but okay, I get it. He called. He's in Gilbert, Arizona, building a home in Gilbert, Arizona, twice as much as the home that he built here, by the way. And he asked, if we had somebody that he could work with, but he has to do it after the house is done. And I said, well, what do you mean? Well, the builder won't let him or any other subcontractors into the home. Nobody else is allowed into the house. It's his guys. That's it. No one else does it. No one else is in. And I said, well, is this a custom one-off house, or is it part of a development or whatever? And no, it's a development, and they're doing 300 homes or 280 homes or whatever. So I get the builder's perspective. You don't want 300 or 500.
I don't. Who's paying for the home?
Well, but you don't want 300 or 500 different people in the homes. But pick out a few guys that can provide all the services. That's the problem.
Right.
His guys can't provide what this guy needs.
Exactly.
So it's not fair to him to have a home that's not designed properly. So we talked about chases, and we talked about putting in big enough pipe to get wires to different areas, and things in general that they could do, so that somebody could come in after the fact. And I gave them a couple of referrals and send them, told them good luck or whatever. But be aware, sometimes builders don't want to deal with it. Please have them call us, talk to us. We're happy to work with them the best we can. We're happy to try to loosen them up a little bit. Obviously we're bonded and insured, and we have a good reputation in the marketplace, so people sometimes know of us and feel a little more comfortable. But we're happy to help. We're happy to help you with the design concept. We're happy to help you with, just being aware of the possibilities and knowing what's going on. And we'll meet you here. We'll meet you at your office. We'll meet you at home. We'll meet you, wherever. We'll meet for lunch. Whatever you want, we're happy to do it. So you can call us, 708-754-8844. you can email us, info@thelittleguys.com, and we're glad to take care of it. All right, one last thing, and some shameless self-promotion. Let's talk about some of the items that are around the store on the final markdown. We had originally over 2 dozen of the Panamax surge protectors that were $150 to $200. We said,
Right, because we use it on everything in the store.
we said for the podcast we'd make them $49, even though they're tagged 89 or 79. We said we make them $49. There are like 2 or 3 left. So there are still some people out there who could come and stop by, take advantage of those. There are some more high-end. There are some high-end extreme line-level conditioners, surge protector, line conditioning machines from Furman that are all at least 40% off. I mean, ridiculous deals. There's some of those still floating around. We have an SVS. Well, we have a few SVS products left.
Yes.
Open box. We have a few open box SVS products left that we're selling off display, or open box, full warranty, like new, that including the SVS Prime package. So somebody who's looking to put together a small surround package with 5 speakers and a sub, $749.
Yeah,
So,
it sounds amazing, too.
It does sound really good. So come and take advantage of that. There's still some seating left.
Yes.
Right, there is some seating left from Palliser. I think there's one section left from Salamander.
Yes,
Right,
one section of 4 seats.
It was originally over $5,500 or $5,700 or something
Black
like
leather,
that. Motorized, bonded
leather.
black leather,
But it's got to be a higher, when I hear bonded leather, I'm like, ugh. But this leather is pretty.
This is as comfortable and as nice as anything I've ever
There must be
said.
different levels of
sure.
bonded
No
leather.
gray area there. Amazing seating, and it's more than 50% off. There are Palliser seats. There's a couple of 2s and a couple of at least 1 or 2 3s.
I think there's just one 3
One
left,
3
and
left?
it's a dark brown microfiber.
There you go. So there's all kinds of deals. Again, at least 50% off. So, and some even more. So come and take a look at those. There are still some tables and there's a lot of credenzas. But some tables, some audio stands, some video stands.
Getting rid of the credenzas, but there are there's some really nice ones left. Tables, so these things were for sale, right? Well, we set up a room, and there was a coffee table or an end table or whatever. I mean, yeah, they were for sale. They're BDI, they're designer stuff. Not that we sold a whole lot of it, but I just marked them down to like IKEA prices.
Right.
I mean, it's like
come and
crazy
take a look.
cheap.
I thought it was too cheap, but it's none of my business. And I guess it is my business, but they are really, really inexpensive, and come and take advantage of that. There are the TVs are few and far between.
I know, that's why I asked. Is
Two
there
TVs
still...
you can pick from or whatever as far as off display, but we'll work you out a deal on any TVs. Just stop by and we'll figure that out. There are some outdoor speaker deals that are amazing from Klipsch and Origin. There's just some great outdoor speaker deals. And then there's, of course, the infamous cable table, which changes on a daily basis as we take things apart, that has HDMIs and audio, analog audio and USB and network cables and power cords and speaker cables and all kinds of stuff, all at 75% off. Not 40, not 50, 75% off. All kinds of deals. And then you wanted to mention headphones.
Headphones. We have, really good headphones. The PSBs, the Steve Dahl favorite, the David favorite. They're lots of people's favorite. Noise canceling. Powered,
boosted.
Right? Boosted, yeah.
Work when the battery's dead. So if you're in the middle of a flight and your battery goes dead and you forgot to put the extra battery in, no big deal. You can still use your headphones. They fold up. They are awesome. They truly are. It's like listening to speakers, not listening to headphones. They're comfortable. You can take them wherever, and they come in black and black and black. So we have them in black, and they are wired headphones that sound amazing.
And the Master and Dynamic line, we have wired and wireless, and those are 40% off.
40% off, and
you know what? It is October, but Christmas and Hanukkah are coming.
You should come take advantage of these prices. You will never see these things for less, that's for sure. In any store,
No.
You're not going to see these things for less. They are unbelievably competitively priced. We still have them out. You can take a listen to them, plug them into your phone, plug them in our pads, whatever. You can take a listen to them and experience them. There's all kinds of good deals, and come and take advantage of them.
Absolutely.
All right, so through the 28th, I think it is, through the 28th, we are open Monday through Thursday, 10 until 6, Friday and Saturday, 10 until 5. After that, we'll be open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and by appointment, before, during, and after normal hours, including Saturdays. I'm going to say
5
that
a.m.
every time. And again, always available via email, info@thelittleguys.com. Check out our website, thelittleguys.com. And come on by and say hello. Right? We want you to stop by, say hello.
Like us on Facebook. Sign up for our emails.
Please.
So that you're always getting the information.
You can sign up right on the front page of our website. Down towards, you got to scroll down a little bit. You can sign up right there. You can call the store and give us your email address if you want to.
Right.
You could do however you want to do it. Just get us your email address. You could fax us 708-478-8845. Actually, had somebody fax this week, which it was the first fax in, I don't know, a year and a half or something. But
I still fax something every once in a while when you don't have the.
So email, info@thelittleguys.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Tom for sitting there and having to listen to us every week and doing all the dials. We are out of here.
Bye-bye.